If you want to eat one of the world's best stews, then you definitely have to try this delicious chuck steak stew made in the Dutch oven.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
Here are the stars of the show, delicious chuck steaks with the beautiful intramuscular fat, and I got them out of a beef neck. For you guys who are regulars to my channel, you know that I did the beef neck and I cut out the chucks, those delicious cuts of steak. Then here they are. And now I'm going to turn these into a stew that's going to be freaking delicious. First thing that I'm going to do is put these on a tray and season them with a PITMASTERX beef seasoning. And I gotta have some flavor on these chuck steaks. I'm not going to over season these, otherwise the stew is going to be just too heavy in flavor. I don't want to have too much salt, I just want perfect balanced beef stew. Each is going to get its own little layer. I'm going to remove the grill grates on the right here, take out the heat deflectors, place in this heavy duty charcoal basket. This tells you a lot about your grill. If the manufacturer of your grill sells a charcoal basket that you can put in there, then you know he trusts the quality of his own products. Because charcoal is going to produce a lot of heat. And if you got one of these plastic gas grills, it's just gonna melt. Now this barbecue is totally different because I did this many times and it still looks like it's new. Well, new-ish. Which means I'm going to turn on the gas and that's going to ignite the charcoal. And if you're a real barbecue enthusiast, you know that that charcoal is going to make these chuck steaks taste amazing. While I wait for that, I'm going to slice up some onions because we're going to need loads of onions. It's one of the ingredients that matters the most. And before I put in the rest of the onions, I'm going to sear the chuck steaks. This is just for flavor. I want to sear them so we get that Maillard effect on the outside of the steak, and therefore they will taste better. That's what barbecue is all about, making things taste better than they already are. Oh, that smells amazing. We're getting a nice bit of sear mark on that. Once we got a nice browning on the outside, that Maillard effect, that's when you flip. Adding more and more flavor is what this dish is all about. And once I got a good amount of color on my steaks, I'm going to take them off because I don't need to cook them. I just want them to have a good amount of flavor. Well, a good amount, as much flavor as you can get. That is the point. Oh, that is good. This is about 2.5 kilograms of beef, which is around 5 pounds, I think. This is now going to go in this Dutch oven. I'm just going to put in some onions to the side first, and then put the chuck steaks on their side. There we go. One. Put some onions in between. Next chuck steak. More onions and more chuck steak. You know that when the meat pops like that, you know this is going to be good. And maybe you guessed it, but the third important ingredient to this recipe is beer. That's right, onions, beer and beef. Those are the magic ingredients that is going to turn this into the most delicious stew ever. I'm using a Belgian beer called Affligem. You can use any beer that you like, but just make sure that you like the beer, so just in case there's a little bit left that you can drink it. The pan is now half full with beer. You don't need to add any more beer unless the moisture evaporates too much, but mainly if you have a good pan, it will stay at this level. The beef will start shrinking down, the fat will melt, and it will become one big party. There's just a couple of more ingredients that we need for more flavor. First ingredient is a little bit of dark brown sugar. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons. To this I'm going to add ketchup. That's about 1/4 cup. 1/2 tablespoon of mustard and 2 tablespoons of Worcester sauce. The final ingredient is 2 bay leaves. Stick them in somewhere. Put the lid on. And if it doesn't fit completely, don't worry about it. it will shrink down and will just melt into the pan. Now this is going to go in the Napoleon grill. I still got hot charcoal, but I'm going to put it over indirect heat, just like half and half, so it will slowly simmer. Now if the charcoal's burned down, you're just going to turn on one burner of the gas and let it slowly cook. And if you know a thing or two about stews, then you know that a good stew needs at least 2.5 hours. So from now on, 2.5 hours is the minimum time required. Even better is going to be 3 hours. After that, depends on the size of meat and the size of the pan. But basically, this should be enough. So, see you on the other side. It's almost been 3 hours. And of course, in the meantime, I didn't waste any time. Started peeling some potatoes, sliced them up into fries, let them soak in some water, and then put a cast iron pan over the fire and put in a load of beef tallow, melting it all the way down. Adding the fries, and now I currently have the fries boiling in the beef tallow at a temperature of around 120 degrees Celsius. And that's quite important. I always measure the temperature in the beef tallow to see where I'm at. This is a safety thing as well as cooking the fries, because the first fry I want to expel a lot of the moisture that sits in the fry, so I got to cook it for a longer time. So I'm just taking it to that light golden brown color that we all love so much, but it shouldn't be a finished fry yet, because now I'm going to take them out again and I'm going to let them cool down. You see, they're almost sound crispy. Let the beef tallow drip out a bit. Make sure that they don't start sticking together. Now, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that golden brown. That is not the brown of a finished fry yet, but I can already feel the crunch coming. So I'm going to let these cool down again, so you and me can take a look at that beef stew. Whoa. Look at that. That is pure magic. Oh, this looks so good. Look at that. It all falls apart. It all became chunks. It's like I can just cut this with my fork. This is so good. I like it the way it is, but if you like a more thick beef stew with a thick gravy to go with it, then you can add a piece of bread to it and let it boil with it. And then the bread will thicken the stew. You can also do this with a potato, some rice, and because you're cooking it so long, it's just going to disappear and make the stew a little thicker. But if you look at this, it is almost all beef. Oh, I'm so hungry. For that finishing fry, I want to go up, up, up. I need to be at around 180 degrees Celsius. I like to do it scoop by scoop. And that's again just for safety. You gotta understand we're working with beef tallow over a fire. And if need be, you can always do 2 batches. This is starting to look good. I'm enjoying a test fry here, but listen to this. Ooh, still quite hot, but super crispy. And did you know that the PITMASTERX chicken seasoning, yeah, ooh, almost thought I was out. PITMASTERX chicken seasoning is absolutely perfect for fries. Some fries, and in they go. That is pure magic. Hold on, a little bit of shredded cheddar, and then, of course, I could put that back on the grill, or I could just give it a little helping hand, let it melt down. I want to get from underneath. Get some of that beef to go with it. All right, that is some tasty fries with a delicious chuck steak stew. Of course, the recipe is on our website, PITMASTERX.com. Go check it out. All our seasoning is available in our shop, and it's also available on our recipe site. So see you guys in the next one.